Hi, I'm Jim Blair, and I want to introduce Ryan with Alsop and Muller. Welcome in, Ryan. Tell us a little bit about Alsop and Muller and your role in the company.
Thanks, Jim. So Alsop and Muller, Alsop, part of our company, has been around since 1873. Muller has been around since the 1980s. They are a well drilling and pump company and an irrigation company that combined in order to service our local ag industry primarily in the Salinas Valley. And what we do now is we do pump repairs, pump installations, engineering, well rehabilitations, irrigation system design, installation repairs, drainage system design, layout repairs, above ground, below ground, everything that one can do associated with water, we help manage.
And what do you do there?
I'm the general manager, and lead sales engineer, so I oversee all of our operations and primarily run the pump and irrigation side of our operations.
Well, that's awesome. How did you first learn about NightOwl monitoring?
Well, it was at the National Groundwater Association convention in Las Vegas last year in 2024, and just happened to sit in on one of your class sessions and said I need to go talk to that guy. So that's how it started.
So why were you looking into remote monitoring?
So my background started out farming here in the Salinas Valley, and then went into heavy equipment management and repair, and I got used to being able to see everything associated that someone might want to know about the health of a piece of equipment while it was operating in the field. And when I got into this industry, I found that that was very largely lacking. There's lots of irrigation focused solutions out there, but nothing related to the health of the well, which is a very important piece of the infrastructure for a lot of farming operations, as well as large residences or commercial operations. So I was actively looking for something like that, and I saw that that was an agenda item for the show, and so I decided that was something I needed to go take a look at. I feel like, based off of my background in the heavy equipment industry, that this technology is one that's going to develop further fast in this industry, and it's going to be a key component of it as more people become aware that it's available and learn how to utilize it. So I think it's a big part of the future of the industry.
Well, I know that you found several different companies to do remote monitoring, and you wound up choosing NightOwl. What made you choose NightOwl over others?
Good question. So we found everything from, do-it-yourself systems available from large manufacturers of monitoring system components in general, to other local providers, other irrigation focused monitoring control systems. NightOwl seemed to be the farthest along, and that's proven to be true, as well as they have, I think, the best focus of all the different providers out there of where they see this going within the industry, and the drive and the ability to be maneuverable to adjust to those changes within the industry. Both starting out, I think you guys started out primarily on the domestic side of things, and now we've engaged largely on the commercial and agricultural side with turbine wells. So it's a lot of changes you guys have been able to adapt to, per our requests, and it's gone very well so far.
So one of our concerns is about how technical the installation is, how hard it is to wire it up. And I know that you've installed a few systems now. What can you tell us about how hard that is to install? And do you think that normal installers can handle technical installation?
Yeah, it's a good question. So the normal domestic systems are very straightforward and easy. The instructions are pretty clear, and the NightOwl team has been helpful and available whenever we've had any questions, especially as we've done our first couple. The ones we have been doing on the turbine pumps, the first one took a little bit of learning, but since then, as we've documented how to go about the process, it's gotten easier, more straightforward, as we have been able to package together what we need on each of these installations and know what it is going into it. It's gotten much easier. The average person, as long as they understand how to do, basic pump wiring, it should be pretty straightforward. A little bit of learning curve, learning, the different communication methodologies and the wiring associated with those. But the team at NightOwl has made a product that has made that process of putting that system together much easier than if one were to try and do it on their own. So it should be doable for the average installer as long as they've had their hands into the electrical side of things like everybody typically does.
Well, that's good to hear. Can you tell us about a specific issue or a specific problem you've had that you've solved that with remote monitoring?
Yeah. So we have the main utility provider in our area is Pacific Gas and Electric, and they are pretty well renowned for having a fairly unreliable quality of power as well as availability of power. And we've used the NightOwl system on a couple of wells where customers have had continuous issues with loss of service or quality of power to help identify and prove out issues that have gotten lack of attention from the utility provider. So we've been able to validate that there are issues and force the utility provider to make adjustments to it. We've also helped customers manage the turbine pumps themselves as the majority of them require oiling. We've been able to capture instances and shut down the wells and instances where there's been a lack of oiling through some of the control mechanisms that NightOwl has been able to provide to us. And so it's helped save some of those pieces of equipment that can lead to some fairly costly repairs if it's not captured early on. So it's also helped some of the customers that have started to utilize it to help identify when they're starting and stopping their wells and which ones are more efficient and target those efficiencies in order to try and improve their overall cost of pumping water, which is very important for the ag industry.
Well, that's really good to hear. So tell me, how do you see remote monitoring changing your business and your industry?
So we see remote monitoring as giving us an opportunity to move from a reactive business model to a more proactive business model that takes the right customer. The larger, more institutional ones tend to be better about those things, but the more that we can be proactive, help save those customers money, helps them be more successful, allows them to be more competitive, helps us grow our business because they would want to engage with us further. Additionally, the remote monitoring allows us to, get greater depths of forecasting with what our business is going to be, where we can see, where we need to maybe potentially utilize our assets, our people, and then help planned repairs rather than do, follow up on a failure that's happened after the fact. So the idea of it is to be more proactive about things, use the data that NightOwl systems can provide to help us and the customer be more efficient with their equipment and manage it in a more cost-effective manner.
Well, that sounds like a fun time to be a pump man right now with all the new technology coming on.
Right.
What advice would you give another company that's thinking about partnering with NightOwl monitoring?
Try it. I would say try it out. The NightOwl team has been helpful to us with helping to understand how the system integrates, talk to them. There might be an opportunity for a demo system. I don't want to speak outside of my bounds, but if there's an opportunity to demonstrate this on their own domestic well they have at their house or a unique customer that they want to service or their own site, they can see what those systems can provide in terms of information, and they can learn the installation process, and they can understand that it's not that big of a hurdle to get over, and start dreaming about the things that this system can bring to them in terms of their capacity to help provide additional service to their customers.
All right. Well, thank you, Ryan, for your time today, and we look forward to supporting your business for many, many years to come.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.